Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this video demo. It's my great honor to introduce myself to you. My name is Wenda Yao, a new applicant to your A-level courses. With an outstanding performance in just ended senior high school entrance examination, I am enrolled in the high school attached to Shandong Normal University, the best middle school in Shandong Province, China, and will start my senior one in this fall term. For most students, they will be very satisfied if they could be enrolled in such a super high school and will focus on Gaokao in the next 3 years. However, for me, I am very clear that it is still far from realizing my dream. Music is my dream and my life. I love this adorable creature because it reaches my spirits and brings beauty to me. I love classical music from parallel to 20th centuries, but I can accept all kinds of music styles. I've listened many solo piano works, chamber musics, symphonies, even operas. I love late Romanticism's music works best, such as Gustav Mahler's and Anton Bruckner's symphonies or Richard Schütter's orchestra works. The reason I love them because they are not only have nice composition skills but also have philosophical meanings. Due to the music gifts showed in my childhood, my parents have paid a lot of attention to improving my musical talents. When I was 10, I have obtained a lot of interesting certificates and awards, such as Piano 10th grade, the highest national piano certificate level, the first prize in piano in Wiesbaden, 2009 in China, the first prize in Cadenza Cup national piano competition, and so on. Because of the reputation accumulated in the year's competitions, in 2011 New Year Eve, I got the honor to play with one of the most famous Chinese pianists, Mr. Lang. That was an encouragement to me. And in the following New Year Eve, I held my first solo piano concert successfully and played with the pianist Mr. Maxime in the same year. Walking step by step on the way becoming a world-famous musician, I never ever lose my self-requirement, and desperately wish to go out of China and widen my horizon. As I know, only in Great Britain I can receive the best music education and classic music training. Therefore, I have passed ABRSM Music Theory Grade 5 and ABRSM Practical PT Grade 8 last year with all distinctions. And now I have been learning composition and conducting and held my second solo concert this year, 2016. For the meanwhile, I have a lot of interests, including history, philosophy, Chinese handwriting, sports, and so on. In my spare time, I practice Chen-style Tai Chi Chuan with Master Chen Bing. Now I am a national first-class Tai Chi boxer and first-class Wushu referee. I also like to spread Tai Chi knowledge in the future couples. Also, I often join the social activities and public welfare performance. With motivation and capabilities, I hope to apply for the A-level courses in your esteemed college. Indeed, I am deeply attracted by your ideally designed program and your respectable school spirit. I believe that, equipped with your strict education, I will be laid a foundation to my future undergraduate study and be closer to achieve my dream. And one day, I will make you proud to have been as a student of your college. The VCD was divided into 6 parts. My solo piano playing, the guitar playing, a piano concerto adapted by me, an orchestra work adapted and conducted by me, my music lecture, Tai Chi performance, and Chinese handwriting performance. Thank you very much. you so. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams come true. For my darling, I love you, and I always will. Love me tender, love me long, take me to your heart. For if this is that I belong and will never part. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams come true. For my darling, I love you, and I always will.
Welcome to the Shanshi Music Hall, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Wenda Yao. I'm here to organize a lecture to do research about music itself. We're going to talk about 5 parts, I suppose. First, I'm going to tell you the melody to the music, and the interval to the music, the chord to the music, and the modes to music. And in the last part, if we have spare time, I'm going to tell you the history of music and put music to a philosophy we learn. As something limited, I cannot organize a whole orchestra to play some classical romantic music works. So I invited my 6 friends to use their piano to just make the sound like an orchestra. And I will play the piano with my speaking. We are gonna continue our lecture. So let's begin. First, the melody to the music. What is melody? This is a difficult question to answer. But in someone's ideas, there's no differences between melody or music. For example, I put a note. This is not a melody. But if I put another note, another, that's the melody. Another example, for example, one note is not a melody. Not a melody. Music exists. That's the melody. But in classical or romantic music works, they are beautiful, wonderful melodies to hear, to analyze. I'm going to analyze you some melodies to see something in common with the different melody. First, I'm going to play you for Mozart, his 4th symphony at the first movement. For Mozart's symphony at the first movement. Yep, that's Mozart's melody. Let's do some research about the melody. Let's divide this melody into 3 parts. First part. That's the first part. That's the second part. You can see the first part and the second part have the exactly same rhythms. It sounds like the first part is get ready. The second part is get ready, ready. And the third part is just go. The second part. Okay, get ready. That's a long melody that Mozart wrote. He has something like this. Let's listen to another orchestra work by Tchaikovsky, his 6th symphony, the first movement. right? If you are enough smart, you can say Tchaikovsky this melody just like Mozart. First part. Second part. So all wonderful melodies can be divided into 3 parts, just like go, get ready, and go. Tchaikovsky, Mozart, all like that. And also Beethoven's 5th Symphony, I think you all know that. That's the first part. And the second part, the same rhythm as the first one. And the third part, for an extra part, I would like to say something more about melodies in common. For last few minutes, I just said wonderful melodies all just have something in common, like 3 parts. And the first and the second part has the same rhythm. But, I mean, not all of them. For example, also Tchaikovsky, his first piano concerto in flat B major. So this melody doesn't have 3 parts. That was because Tchaikovsky used a folk melody. It's for Russia. That's we'll talk about a writing melody and something, some melodies in common. So as for now, at the end of our first part, I'm going to introduce you guys for 2 words, which is melodic and unmelodic. What is melodic? Maybe that's easy to understand. Maybe there's some melody you can sing along with. You can sing along with this melody. This is a melodic. Or some melody is really wonderful. This is melodic. But what is unmelodic? For example, the first Western composer that write unmelodic music is be regarded Richard Wagner. Richard Wagner's music is regarded as unmelodic. For example, the beginning of his opera, Tristan and Isolde. Very different from Mozart, from Chopin's music, right? So, how does it even possible? You cannot find a clearly melody during these 2 bars. So, how does it happen? What did Wagner do that? How did he do that? So let's get analyzed. So the reason that make Wagner's music unmelodic is Wagner doesn't write melody at all. He writes motifs. Motifs. Motif is a completely different idea from melody. Motifs have maybe just one bar. A melody can have 8 bars or 9 bars or 10 bars. For motifs, for melody, it can have clearly beginning and clearly ending. But motif doesn't. Motif just one bar, so you cannot hear a clear ending during motifs. Wagner writes like this. He first writes a motif like this. That's the one motif. He writes the other motifs. First motifs, the second one. But the great of Wagner is they lock them together. Two motifs together made his music on melody. So, that is Wagner's melody, and that is grateful of Wagner. But in the 20th centuries, we see some really on-melody music. For example, Prokofiev, his piano sonata like this. Oh, no melodies, no melodies. You cannot find any melodies during this sonata, the second sonata. Or the seventh sonata, I suppose, and the third movement. Not like Chopin. So, is his music really unmelodic? I can find a melody during this terrible thing. This melody, Prokofiev, yeah, right. So you cannot hear them. But melody exists. So as we go to the end of our first part, the question about unmelodic, I think unmelodic is something wrong. Melody exists in music. It's just the way you understand the music, the way you listen to. If you listen to Prokofiev's left hand, no melody. But if you look to the right hand and the top of his chord, you will find a melody had very deeply. Yeah, that is our melody. Doesn't follow the rules that we talk about for 3 parts. Okay. So we are gonna go into our second part, which is intervals to music. Intervals, the idea of intervals may be the notes, the distance between notes. For example, this is 5. This is 2. I'm going to tell you 2, 3, and 5. These 3 kinds of intervals. This 5. Let's look at the second interval first. I think the shortest distance between 2 notes is the second distance. The nearest note between it is, or it has the shortest distance. So I think the intervals of 2 exist to create something nervous. Yes, nervous. Did you get nervous? So we give you an example. For example, I took 3 notes. And I add can you hear this? And I add maybe it's not very I give you introduction, you can hear this music. What does this music come from? Sounds very well known, right? It's famous. That was intervals of 2 created something nervous. Let's go into intervals of 3. So I choose this, his 4th Symphony by Brahms. You can take a look at intervals of 3. So Brahms' melody is just going like that. Okay. This is a C. If we put this C to here, it goes like that. Also, the B, we put the B here. So Brahms' melody turned into that. You can find B and G, this is the 3. G and E, this is also the 3 intervals. Is all 3. That is the grade of Brahms. He took 3 intervals, just right, and he changed some notes position. And get his famous 4th Symphony. It's really, really wonderful. Okay, let's look up to 5 intervals of 5. So I choose the orchestra work, which is written by Bruckner, his 4th Symphony, Romantic, at the beginning. Okay, this is a short piece, so let's do some analyze about this melody. This is intervals of 5. Sound what? And not very wonderful to listen. And turn to flat B in the end. That is a 5 of interval. Okay, so let's go into the 3rd part, which is the chord to the music, or the harmonic to the music. So let's have a look at this. I'm going to ask you what the difference with the 3 phrases. You can hear the all the time, but something sounds different. So what change makes the sound different is the chord in my left hand, which is harmonic. But you know, the funny thing is, this is one of his songs, Help. Help me if you can, I'm feeling down, and I do appreciate you being around. Help me if you can, I'm feeling down. Also, Chopin's second sonata in flat B major, I suppose. You can also hear da 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 da, but something different. The difference is the left hand's chord. So harmonic's different. The music you sound, you listen, is completely different. But to be honest, Chopin's harmonic is really beautiful but difficult to analyze. So I'm going to tell you a very simple and easy two harmonics, which is the main chord and the D-minor chord. The main chord means, for example, C major. The main chord is C major's main chord. And what is D-minor chord? Is this in C major. This is a very usual and very simple two harmonics in music. You can see they're everywhere. I can tell you 3 days or night. Do you have any listen Beethoven's 7th Symphony? This is A major. So A major's main chord is, right? And his D-minor chord is so. Main chord to D-minor chord. So I have two more examples for you, which is the first example is written by Gustav Mahler, Mahler's 2nd Symphony. Okay, you can see that's the main chord. And D-minor chord. That's one of example. Another example is written by great German composer Beethoven, his first piano concerto. Okay, so it's just like Mahler's symphonies. And the D-minor chord. It's the same as Mahler's symphony. Main chord to the D-minor chord. For children, I hope you would listen to these songs. You all listen it, right? Also, the main chord. and the D minor chord. Also everywhere. Main chord to the D minor chord. I can tell you these examples for 3 days and nights. Also Beethoven's 7th Symphony, his last movement. Just like that. Main chord, D minor chord. Okay, so that is the end of our 3 parts. I'm going to go into the 4th part, the most to the music. For most, everybody will think about major and minor. Major and minor. In almost most of people's ideas, the major means something happy. But minor means something sad. But that is not completely right, because we also can find something that, for example, for Chopin, this piece of Chopin. Sounds sad, beautiful, but it was flat E major. It's major. Also, Brahms, his first piano concerto as the last movement, is D minor, but it sounds not sad at all. It sounds angry, huh? But in most of people's ideas, that major should express something happy. Minor should express something sad. Let's take example. Also was Tchaikovsky's 5th Symphony. This is his first movement, remember? Very sad, huh? It is E minor. Yes, E minor. So let's go into the 4th movement, which is the last movement of his 5th Symphony. It turned to E major. From E minor to E major, you can see the difference between them. The same melody from E minor to E major. From sad and to happy. You can hear the difference, right? Very clearly to understand. That is the difference between major and minor. So let's take a good example of we turn major to minor. Everybody have heard this. This is D major. So we turn to it to D minor. be honest, I'm not the first one to change this song from major to minor. His first one is named Gustav Mahler, also is Mahler. At his first symphony, at the third movement, he used this melody, which is turned into minor. It sounds very different. Very sad, right? That is most of music that turn to minus reason. Could you imagine that is turned to major? It's completely different. So at the end of our fourth part, I'm going to introduce you some special modes that the certain composer use. For example, we can listen to this prelude that is written by Debussy. Debussy's prelude. Okay, so what do you feel after listening to this Debussy's melody? Not very easy to understanding, because Debussy doesn't use minor or major. He doesn't use these modes. He doesn't use this C major. His mode is Debussy used that. Sounds very different from. So if you put a simple melody into Debussy's mode, you will get something very different. For example, that's a C major. If we use Debussy's mode, what does that sound like? He completely changed the structure. Also, this melody was used in one of his preludes. So, Debussy's music was called impression. Or this sounds strange and weird because he used a completely different modes. So the last certain and not very unusual modes I would like to introduce to you guys is a mode that in American music, if this is a D minor, it should be like that. But you can hear the difference, is the flat B and the B. So the difference is in one note, how does it change the music? And okay, so here comes something like jazz. You hear the American styles, right? So if it's a D minor, it should be like that. Sounds Germany. More happier and make the rhythm more clearly. That is something unusual and something wonderful in American music. So that's the two special modes I would like to introduce to you. And that's the end of our fourth part, I suppose. We have spare time. We can go into the fifth part, which is the last part I was talking about what should music express for. Let's look some history of music. For Western music, music was divided into three parts, which is Baroque, Classical, Romantic, and 20th centuries. In the Baroque style, the most famous composer is Sebastian Bach. Do you know Bach? Or his fugue. So what is the style of Baroque? We take one example of Bach's fugue. That's the right hand, and that's the left hand, and the right hand have the same resonance. That's style of Baroque music. In Baroque music, the way and method the Bach used to create his own style is called counterpoint. And the same rhythm the music exists. Use counterpoint, that is Baroque music styles. And we go to the classical music. Classical music, maybe it has the most famous composer. It's very well known. For example, Mozart, Beethoven, or Haydn was in this period. So what's the style of this classical music? It should be regarded as it has very clear and regular structure. That's the one of sonata written by Mozart. Yeah, look back to our first part. That's the part one. Two part, second part. So we talk about something in common about melody before. So these common things exist in classical period. Also, for Beethoven, you can hear a very clearly melody during my right hand, and you can get a harmonic that is divided into four groups to very clearly. This is a Ronaldo. For Ronaldo, this melody was Ronaldo many times. It's very clearly. That's the style of classical music. And we're going into romantic music, which is, I think, during romantic music, the year was maybe 18th or 19th century, I suppose. That 2 centuries was Europe was at the top of their culture. They have the strongest countries and the highest technology. So their music, I think, is the most wonderful of all of the 4 periods. For romantic, there are very too much composers to tell about. The early romantic music, Schubert, Schumann, and Mendelssohn, they could be most famous. Schubert, the biggest difference between classical music and romantic music is classical music doesn't have any personal feeling at all, but romantic music doesn't. He has some personal feelings. For example, I wrote a piece, a work, because I feel sad or happy today. Okay, so I feel angry, so I write this. Look back to Baroque's music. Can you hear Bach was angry or sad during his fugue? You can't hear it. So I think that is wonderful, or that's very wonderful for romantic music. And a great composer that was regarded as the beginner of romantic music is Beethoven. I feel sad, I feel angry, so I wrote this piano sonata. Also, is that the same? I feel angry, so I wrote his famous 5th symphony. And it goes to very similar. It goes to very simple in romantic music. You can hear the composer's feelings during his music very clearly. For example, I'm very happy. You can feel I'm happy. I'm sad. You can feel I'm really sad. What pieces sound very sad? I'm very sad, so I wrote this. So romantic music was dependent on the composer's personal feelings. The most wonderful pieces, I think, in romantic music, for symphony, I suppose, could be Tchaikovsky's 6th Symphony. Especially his last movement. Very sad pieces. That's the early romantic and the middle of romantic music. For late romantic music, I think there are 3 composers that I like them best, which is Richard Wagner, Anton Bruckner, and Gustav Mahler. Richard is an opera composer. He doesn't write symphony, doesn't write piano works, but his opera is really developed the music of the Western musics. Teresa Niesword, as I told you at the beginning of our program, also has many wonderful pieces. And Lohengrin. Very beautiful melodies. For Anton Bruckner wrote the biggest, the largest symphony. He has 9 symphonies, which of them are very big and large, with a big orchestra. Have you listened to his 9th symphony? with Bruckner. Bruckner believes in God. He is really believing in God. So his music was just right for God. For Gustav Mahler, Mahler could be regarded as my favorite composer. He also has 9 symphonies, and also he has the 10th symphonies, but he doesn't write before he died. He doesn't write completely before he died. For Mahler's music, his first symphony sounds happier. And his second symphony adds something that could express his philosophy ideas. Also, Mahler wrote the longest symphony, which is his third symphony. His third symphony, if from the beginning to the end, it could take maybe 2 hours long, and it is a challenge for the conductor and the orchestra. Okay, that's all. I'll talk about romantic music. So as the last one for 20th centuries, I think the most not unusual thing in 20th centuries is the music styles is many music styles exist at the same time, and it's divided into many different scales. For example, I told you before the impression that is created by Debussy and Ravel. Impression. That is one of Ravel's. Debussy. As I played before. So the composer like Debussy and Ravel, we call it impression. Impression, what does impression mean? Impression composer doesn't add any personal feeling to their works at all. He just describes an object. For example, I can describe this thing, or I can describe my piano, I can describe a beautiful lady, I can describe a bottle of water, whatever. But you can never feel any personal feelings in Debussy or Ravel's music. Sounds like it's go back to Baroque, right? Western music go through classical, romantic, into 20th centuries and go back to Baroque again. Do research about counterpoint. That is French. That is French music. Impression was invented in French, and Debussy and Ravel are also French composer. Also, in other places of Europe, we could see many famous composers, Bartók, or Hindemith, or Schoenberg. And for Soviet, which is Russia, he has the best composer, Rachmaninoff or Prokofiev, and Shostakovich, many great composers. That's all about the history of music. So we talk about the melody to music, the intervals to music, the chord to music, and harmony to music, the mode to music, and I introduced the history, the beginning, and some special styles, or what does music mean? This question answer to you. So maybe this is the end of our program. So I hope you will learn something, maybe just a little bit during my lecture. That is the end of my program. Thank you very much. Thanks, my friends. Stand up, please. Thank you.